Welcome to another edition of the most consistent, prolific, and dedicated uploads in YouTube history. This is the Dynamic Show of Entertainment right here on YouTube.com. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. Batista recently had an interview over at podcast1.com, and he had the following to say. What does Batista think about the WWE? His future? Will he be returning? Does Batista want some creative pull in the process? Well, here's what he had to say. Batista talked about loving the business. And first off, right there, he does love the business. He has a passion, a love, a dedication for it. Batista has been a WWE fan, but he potentially doesn't like the way that the WWE is going about their storylines and the whole, PG. But Batista's back anyways because he's doing it to come back, to give back, because this is what he was born to do. Batista noted that he doesn't understand wrestlers who say that they would only work one TV show a week and not work house shows, since that's the good stuff. Batista also said that he wanted to return to WWE, which is a good sign because, his movie is just blowing up. I mean, it's doing major things. Batista's going to be a major Hollywood star. And really, Batista wouldn't have to come back to the WWE. Batista, if he's not happy with the way they're booking him and the way that they're having him, made to look like a joke, a failure, hey, Batista can go out and do whatever he wants to do. Now is the time where the WWE needs to think smart about Batista and his return and what they want to do with him in the future. Batista says that he hopes to go back, but I'm sure Batista wants things to be a little bit different this time around, because the whole way that Batista came back, it was just screwed up. It was the wrong time. It was the wrong place. The fans were all over Daniel Bryan at that time, and, Batista was just like a rock and a hard spot. Batista did say, though, that I miss it and I love it. They need to work with me on creative stuff, man. I like to have more creative control, because some of this stuff, it's like they argue with you just to argue with you when they know that this is the route that we should be going. Then we end up going that route anyway, but it's usually like that 3 weeks too late. And that's the thing, the lack of effort, the lack of consistency, the lack of motivation, the lack of ass-backwards storytelling. Just like Batista he didn't have a problem with of Daniel Bryan beating him. He had a problem with Daniel Bryan coming out the next night on Raw after he was stretched out of WrestleMania, after he couldn't walk, after he couldn't stand, but yet he came out the next night on Raw not injured, not selling any injuries. That's the whole thing. It's the small things that matter in the business. You can tell that Batista, like I said, he has a deep love for the company. He loves the WWE. He loves what it represents. But there are just some things that don't add up. There are just some things that don't make sense. And I can identify with what Batista means on this whole instance. So, if Batista does come back, I hope that they give him a respectable run. I hope they don't have him job out or lose, although Batista doesn't mind putting over young talent, obviously. But you can't have Batista just come in there and lose every single match. I mean, you can't, you can't have him go in there and be like an RVD. Batista's too bad. He's too big and bad. He's too brutal to just go in there and lose all these matches. I mean, you can't have Batista go in there and get a loss to Rusev. I mean, yeah, we got to build up the young. We got to build up the next generation, but Rusev isn't going to be a big deal. Rusev is really red hot right now. I'll give him that, but I just hope that the WWE knows what they're doing with Batista, and they realize the mistakes that they've made with him in the past, and they don't go down that same road that they did. Like I said, when Batista returned, I'm sure that it really hurt him that he was positioned the way he was, and I'm sure he was hurt. He's, even though he's a big guy and he can take a lot, I'm sure he wasn't too admirable to the choices that the WWE put him through. Not only booking wise, not only the losses that he sustained, but just the overall way that the WWE, the position that they put Batista in, it's just a case of bad timing. That's what this all comes down to, and the fans pretty much just pissing all over Batista. And then look what happened. Look at Daniel Bryan. You wanted Daniel Bryan, and now where's Daniel Bryan? He's injured. He's hurt. He's out. Who knows when he's going to come back? Now, if you would have stuck with Batista, maybe it would have been a different story. But no, like I said, there's just a lot of things that didn't work in Batista's favor. Hopefully, as he comes back, if he comes back, things will be a lot different. Subscribe with your comments and your